Chapter 16, Feeding Toddlers and Young Children. So, toddler development and eating behaviors. Developments that influence toddler eating behaviors include physical changes like their rate of growth slows considerably, but choking remains a hazard. Their appetite decreases. As far as motor skills, these improve. Toddlers can use utensils and drink from a cup, but of course they need more practice. Social development, they experience frequent mood swings. They may be happy about something one minute and very upset the next. They struggle with autonomy and asserting their independence. They want to do things on their own. They're still experimenting with strong taste and texture preferences. It's not uncommon for toddlers to spit out food or use their hands to remove it from their mouth. They also are what's called neophobic. They have a fear of new or unfamiliar foods. And you can find out more about these behaviors on page 414 of your text. They enjoy adult attention and approval. And media also affects their preferences because of commercials, and then because they're not as active because they're watching and utilizing more media. Preschool and school-age children's development and eating behaviors. So for physical changes of preschool and school-age children, their growth continues at a slower pace, but can often be in spurts. Their appetite is good, but children prefer smaller meals and eating more often. As far as motor skills, they're able to feed themselves independently, but many have many spills and accidents because sometimes they get creative in how they eat. They enjoy helping with food preparation. As far as social development, younger children commonly dawdle during mealtime, whereas older children are often in a hurry to finish and return to other activities. They imitate the food preferences of others, and older children are often eager to try new foods. They enjoy planning and shopping and cooking those new foods. So how do we support positive feeding practices? Well, we're responsible for serving a variety of nutritious foods and offer those foods at appropriate times, and you can see more detail about that on page 410 of your text. Making mealtime comfortable, pleasant, and safe. Follow the My Plate recommendations on page 407, and you have the website address. And then, as we mentioned before, consider variety, flavor, textures, color, and temperature when planning meals. Children should determine what they will eat, and they do. You can't force them to eat. How much food they are willing to eat. Serving sizes should be appropriate for their age, and at the end of this PowerPoint, we're going to give you appropriate serving size amounts. Expect skipped meals and picky eating if they're not growing. Avoid letting children fill up on milk if they won't eat when they have a lot of milk. Respecting these roles reduce power struggles and help children develop trust and independence. And again, you can read more about this on page 409 of your text. So children are in the process of establishing lifelong eating and activity habits. So it is important to be a positive role model and eat the foods you want them to eat. Encourage children to try new foods and activities. And there's a YouTube video on this topic if you want to take a look at that. So what about children with special feeding needs? Children who have developmental delays or medical conditions may also have special feeding needs. They may not recognize when they are hungry or not be able to express their their hunger. And so we need to be very much aware of how they're doing on a regular basis. They may have a tendency to overeat. They may be more prone to choking. They may be taking medicine that interferes with their appetite, nutrient absorption, or increases the need for certain nutrients. For example, a child with ADHD may be taking a food or a medicine that suppresses their appetite. Have an increased tendency towards food allergies. So for mealtime environments, time meals and stacks so children will feel hungry, and this should be adapted to individual groups of children. Encourage physical activity to improve their appetite. Consider the ease of eating foods, especially with younger children. And warn children 5 to 10 minutes before a meal so they have time to anticipate and prepare for a change in activity. So maintain regular times for meals so children know when to expect it and it's consistent. Make mealtime a pleasant and relaxed experience. Don't use food as a reward. Acknowledge desirable eating habits and reinforce that. Provide chairs, tables, and eating utensils that are comfortable for children to use. And involve children in the meal preparation. So when it comes to snacks, snacks can make a positive contribution to children's diets by supplying nutrients that may be lacking from other meals. They should be nutrient dense. High fat, high sugar items fill children up, but also replace essential nutrients. And children, because of stomach sizes, can't afford empty calories. This is a good time to introduce new foods for children to try. Avoid letting children eat whenever they are hungry. Okay, so health habits relating to eating habits. Tooth decay can happen from the different forms of food that they're eating, solid, in liquid or sticky foods. The frequency of eating, the timing of meals can promote tooth decay. Obesity, there are 3 times more children in the last 20 years that are obese in the United States, and you can find more detail about that on page 416 of your text. If children have a family history of high blood pressure or hypertension, we should keep a close eye on salt content, and especially in prepackaged foods or pre-prepared foods or restaurant food. If there is a history of cardiovascular disease, or if a child is obese, obese 5 to 10-year-old children show high risks for heart disease. And then diabetes, about half of new diagnoses of type 2 diabetes are in children, and in the past that's only been an adult disease. And it's because of the increasing obesity rate. All of these, hypertension, cardiovascular, and diabetes, are related significantly to obesity. So here are some recommendations for physical activity for young children. Things to do every day, things to do often, things to do sometimes, and then at the top of the pyramid, things to cut down on. So this is the page that I mentioned previously about appropriate serving sizes for toddlers, preschool children, and school-age children. And there is a handout I prepared for you that you can utilize in your module assignment number 2, part B, where you're planning a menu. Make sure you use the serving sizes that are here for toddlers and preschoolers. And note that serving sizes are much smaller than what we normally eat and sometimes give to children. For example, meat for toddlers is only 1 ounce. Fruits and vegetables, 2 tablespoons. Cereal and rice, 2 tablespoons. Bread, 1/2 slice. Milk, 1/2 cup. For preschool children, meat is 1.5 ounce. Fruits and vegetables, 1/4 cup for each serving. Cereals and pasta, 1/4 cup. That means if you're serving macaroni and cheese or rice, the serving size for preschool is 1/4 cup. Bread, 1 slice, and milk, 3/4 cup. And for school-age children, meat is 2 ounces. Fruit and vegetables, 1/2 cup for each serving. 1/2 cup of pasta and cereal, 1 slice of bread, and 1 cup of 2% milk for school-age children.